Playoffs? You talking to me about playoffs? I'm just hoping we can win a game. That reference would have made more sense in round one, but it's round two. PTL playoffs, baby, semifinals. We were playing the Cleveland Bros, coached by Travis. Top record in D2, top record in the league. He went 12-3. No one else did better than 11-4. So he's got like the scariest team of all time, more or less. So it's basically the complete form of D Train's team, where you got Bulu Lucha and Gigalith Excadrill. So you have like two like elemental whatever like sweepers. And then Rotom Wash and Latias like both just screw me up. Victini screws me up. Mega Sableye basically counters all my counters. So basically what I tried to do was go like, okay, here are like the most obvious six. And then I realized like, okay, if I prep for these six, like Latias or Rotom Wash or both could just totally ruin me. So I was kind of thinking it's basically this, but then like he might forego one of his two setup plans. So like maybe Gigalith Excadrill don't come, but Excadrill is probably his best answer for Mega Altaria. But I'm like, okay, well maybe Hawlucha, Bulu don't come, and I could see that a little bit more because besides like Superior, that's he'll do all right against my team. So I was just kind of like trying to just to prep for those. I didn't even consider Regice or Omastar. I didn't even look at them. I mean, if they come, whatever. But like I don't know. I just didn't like bother. So these are the six you can see that I'm bringing. We're just gonna start with Slowbro. Slowbro is my best answer to his two main physical setup sweepers, which are Hawlucha and Excadrill. I can Psychic or Scald. Either way, I have Slack Off and I have Thunder Wave, so I could go like Thunder Wave versus Toxic is kind of like a toss up. I figured for something like Latias or Victini or Bulu, I could catch on a switch. Otherwise, Scald and Psychic is doing a ton of damage, and I'm just a lot of physical defense to be able to handle Hawlucha or Excadrill, and he doesn't really have like knockoff threats. He doesn't. I don't know. Like maybe Excadrill has X-Scizor, but that's 160 versus 150 for Stab Earthquake, so he doesn't really need it. I could go Wakan for the Rotom Wash, or I could go Rindo for the Bulu, but I was just like there wasn't really a berry that was working for me. I figured I'd go the Psychium Z and just be able to get a huge chunk on something like Bulu or Rotom Wash or Hawlucha, Oko Hawlucha if I need to, if it's at full or something. And yeah, it's just Slowbro coming again. Really, that trade for Slowbro really brought my team together. I mean, like Starmie is good, but it just didn't fit my team in that slot. So that's fine. So yeah, so that's my one defensive answer. The rest is pretty much offense. No, that's not true. Whatever. So I have Zeraora and I have an Air Balloon. Basically, it's the difference between Air Balloon and Shuka is that like a stab, like Life Orb, Earthquake can basically kill me through through Shuka, or it'll be like super close, and anything like rocks or sand chip or a status will just will kill me. So I figured the Air Balloon to force a switch in case he's scarfed, in case he's banded, in case he's whatever, or at the very least force him into Iron Head, force him to switch. Will be good, and I am running a special Zera. So basically, two things are good here. One, Mega Sableye and Rotom Wash are very likely Will-O-Wisp users for things like Zeraora and Celesteela. But and then also things like Gigalith kind of are more physically defensive. Sableye is kind of 50-50. It just depends how he wants to build it. So yeah, that's just the thing in my coverage is Thunderbolt, Focus Blast, and Hidden Power Poison. So the one thing, I do not hit Latias. I totally see that. But I hit Lucha, I hit Victini really hard. I can Focus Blast, Excadrill, or Gigalith, Thunderbolt, the rest of his team, and then HP Poison for the Bulu, because I figured in theory a Bulu would come in on a Zera before Latias would. But that's basically it. Latias is kind of like weird because if it's choiced, that's basically the most threatening to me. Otherwise, I can kind of like I have answers for it in my ladder mons. But if it's like specs to get huge damage, or if it's scarfed out speed stuff, that's when we start running into issues. So I'm hoping to bait a Will-O-Wisp with this thing and go from there. All right. All right. Had to do stuff. Okay. So next up is Celesteela. I am running a more defensive Celesteela. Celesteela is weird here because he has a Rotom Wash, he has a Victini, and he has a Mega Sableye. So basically, he has two good things to hit me that I can't hit back super hard unless I'm running like Earthquake or Seed Bomb. And then he has Mega Sableye, which could easily Will-O-Wisp me and stop me from doing any sort of Leech Seeding or Toxicking and stall me out horribly. So it's not the best matchup, but once again for Hawlucha, for Excadrill, even for Latias a bit, and for Bulu, it's got enough of a good matchup because it's Celesteela and it exists that it'll be fine. Sorry, I have a rabbit that's chewing something, so I gotta go deal with being professional. What's that? So Celesteela is kind of speedy as a remnant of when it was a setup set, but I just like Rotom just stops it. So does Sableye a bit. I don't know. And it's just got HP, so I'm gonna Leech Seed stuff. I can Air Slash or Flamethrower with Excadrill. It's basically there to just kind of like check some of his stuff. So like he has switches for it, but at least I'm forcing those switches. And if it's Latias with Thunderbolt, I can like protect Scout for it. I can basically protect the Scout, and I can protect to stall out potential sand and or grassy terrain turns in case he's trying to like let Bulu die so Lucha can come in or something. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. So I might be able to outspeed a couple things. He's running more defensive. I don't think I could I think I could outspeed the Rotom Wash if it has no speed. But even that's a little like hopeful. So I don't know about the Celesteela set. I just like Celesteela needs to come and it needs to be there just to do its job. So next is Nidoking, also a Shuka Berry. So the point of this is obviously to check the Excadrill. I figured Sash is risky because he could get Rocks Up with a couple different mons, and something like Assault Vest, just like not much of a point besides like for Rotom, and I want to have Rocks Up if I get the chance to put him up, which is nice. But Nidoking just has a really good offensive matchup here. Ice Beam, Sludge Wave, Earth Power, besides Rotom Wash and Regice and Mega Sableye is perfect coverage. So this thing could bait Mega Sableye in. It could it'll probably bait Rotom Wash in, but at least I still have Sludge Wave for it. I can get Rocks Up on it if I have to. It's just one of those things where Nidoking has the offensive pressure, and if I can get it to live a move of any kind, then I'll be okay off. I don't know specifically what the speed is for. I just know that that's the speed I wanted. It's like the same, but inverse of Celesteela or something. I don't know. So yeah, it's just Nidoking. It's Shuka. I have two Shukas because the berries have been doing me well. So we'll see if that works out. I don't know. So here's the spice set. This was concocted the moveset was concocted by Ian Electricity. He was in D3 and he had the third best record. He basically lost. He missed playoffs by differential only, which sucked. But he's a really good battler, and he suggested a Facade Altaria set. So seeing Mega Sableye and Rotom as very obvious Will-O-Wisp users, and especially my Zeraora, Celesteela type physically offensive team, and his weakness to those mons a little bit. He suggested just this set, so if I can basically bait a burn, hopefully it's just literally this set depends entirely on him being Will-O-Wisp and not toxic, but I'm hoping with a Celesteela there and Zeraora that the Will-O-Wisp is more likely. But it's just Dragon Dance, Cotton Guard, Roost, and Facade, so his only Facade risk is Excadrill. In theory, I would be able to Cotton Guard on it and get a Dragon Dance up before it can come in and start doing stuff. The main weakness of the set is if I don't have any prior damage on Excadrill, and I'm not set up enough to take him out with a Facade, or I'm not set up enough to be scary, and he has Sword Stance. So basically, it's like I can Roost and Facade and Cotton Guard, and then basically I'm gonna get like a +1 burn, maybe burned Facade off, stuff like that. So basically my kind of plan is to like Dragon Dance early, kind of scare him from coming in with Excadrill, go into something that can burn me. I guess like Rotom Washer, like that's just kind of the thing is like besides Excadrill, he doesn't really have switch-ins for Victini or for Altaria. He would assume I would have Earthquake, so it would completely rely on him trying to set up Sand first. And depending on if Gigalith comes and has Toxic, then he'd probably elect for that. But basically, if I can bring this in on a Rotom Wash or a Mega Sableye and kind of bait the Will-O-Wisp, maybe I'll be more set up. But either way, it's an interesting set, and I just like the idea of it. I'm speed to outspeed a Crept Hawlucha for Superior. So basically, I didn't want to put enough speed to just do max Hawlucha. I don't think a Jolly 252 Hawlucha would come. But Hawlucha should come with enough speed to outspeed Superior if it needs to, because that would just be reckless not to. So I've crafted that by 1. So, yeah, Superior is 120. Or sorry, no, like obviously this isn't the math. So whatever my +1 is, 183. So Superior hits 181. I would assume he hits 182. So I want to hit 183. That's the plan. And I have special defense for obviously something like a potential special Victini or Latias or even a Regice. So that way I'm getting the Cotton Guards for my defense, and then my special defense allows me to set up. And that's about it. I don't know if it'll work, but it's certainly somewhere. Like I don't have like this team is such a good matchup against me, against probably most teams. So it's just one of those things where it's like I mean otherwise I'm just running defensive Altaria and Excadrill sits in on that anyway. So I might as well have like a weird amalgam of defense and offense and see if I can make it work. I have no idea if I will. And then finally, Superior has a very good matchup. I think it's probably my best lead, considering something like a Gigalith or a Bulu or a Rotom Wash are good leads. There's a very good chance Victini would lead because, and it's scary. Like, Psychic move for obvious Nidoking lead, Celesteela or Superior can't really hit it. Can you turn out on Slowbro or Altaria? It's a good lead for him. But I still think I can set up a substitute if I need to on something like a Rotom. I can Glare something like a Hawlucha or whatever. I have the Koba Berry. I can live an Acrobatics from Hawlucha very easily. As long as it's not +2, obviously. But if it's just like a unburden, no item, Acrobatics, no boosted attack, I can take it with the Koba Berry, and then just Leaf Storm and Dragon Pulse. I had HP Dark for Victini, but being able to Leaf Storm and then KO Latias, it would be a roll, assuming no prior damage, to get those, like, the +2 from the Leaf Storm and then Dragon Pulse to KO Latias. But it's still worth it, in my opinion. So, that's, Dragon Pulse doesn't hit Victini as well, but who knows? And that's about it. So obviously I'm creeping the Latias, whatever. it's the extra points in bulk. Will it matter? I don't know. But like, there's no scenario I can think of where like, oh, he overcrept with Hawlucha the extra point for no reason, and then I could have outsped him or something stupid like that. So basically, my plan here is to either have basically open him up, get rid of one of his 2 sweepers. Like, if I can get rid of the Excadrill Gigalith combo, or just the Excadrill or the Hawlucha, to prevent his, like, checking of my guys, then maybe either Zera or Altaria can sweep. Because, with Seed Hawlucha and Sand Rush Excadrill, there's a chance that he might not need Scarfers. So, relying on those to outspeed things. So it may put me in a position. So I'm going to lead with Serp, try to kind of force him to hopefully sack something depending on the switches. Because, I mean, if Bulu leads, then I've boosted Leaf Storms, all that. So we'll see how this battle goes. I'm obviously worried about the matchup, but I feel like I've got what I need here. It wasn't like D-Train where I was just like, I'm just throwing stuff on a team, Calm Mind, Verziani, it's a Hawlucha. It's like, at least like Superior can actually do something. It has a Koba, it's not 4 times weak to flying. I have a couple, I'm going with the berries again for good measure. I have my spicy Altaria set. It's not like spicy, it's just like, niche. And I have a defensive check and Slowbro that I need to keep healthy. So it's just kind of like, which of my 2 between Zera and Alt I can get in a position to hopefully sweep or at least dent his team enough that I can clean up. and then not get swept myself. So it's certainly less hyper offense than round one, but it's still like very offensive matchup. So we'll have to see how it goes. And I guess, well, from your perspective, the battle will be coming up is a replay because I'm not doing these live anymore. So thanks for watching up to this point, and see you for the battle. Oh, right, here's the matchup. Just as you may be, I was absolutely floored at this team. Omastar did not even like register as a bring. I was like Regice, if anything, to wall my special guys like Serp. And neither of his setters. So no Gigalith, which like Gigalith was really annoying for me to try to deal with. Even if I have like things that can hit it, it's still putting up sand. It's still living at least a hit or two. It has toxic options, has rock options, and then Bulu I get from a like I said, I thought Bulu Lucho was like the weaker of his two duos, but he just went with the sweepers and not the setters. So now I'm worried. I'm like, okay, well, that Excadrill could be anything. It could set up its own sand. It's probably it's probably more likely Mold Breaker at this point, but that's scary. Sableye is there to basically wall Celesteela and Slowbro, which is annoying. And Rotom is here. No Latias, which I was thankful for because that would just be too much. Basically, if this team had come with Latias over Omastar, I would have been like, ooh. But I do get Omastar if he gets up a Shell Smash, water, like basically water, ice, rock could more or less sweep me if he has like hazards up. If Slowbro takes a dent, because I'm not gonna be able to take anything with that, and he has a chance to live a hit or two. So that's rough. Victini's here, obviously, whatever, it's Victini. So it's just interesting. The Lucha, I'm like, okay, so maybe he's just like Citrus, maybe he's weakness policy. I have no idea what that Lucha is gonna do without the seed. So I'm gonna go with my Superior lead because Superior's matchup is still pretty good here with Omastar and Rotom, and even the Lucha a little bit because I have my Koba Berry. So we're gonna see that he leads Victini. And I'm like, okay, well, this thing's either scarfed or it's going to, either way, I can't touch it. So I have to go into Altaria. I could go into Slowbro, but I don't want to risk any shenanigans with electric moves. So he goes Excadrill, and I'm like, okay, Mold Breaker, that's fine. He may be choiced. He may just be Life Orb, who knows. So I'm going to go Slowbro with my dedicated switch as he gets rocks up. And I'm like, okay, well, I can Scald here. I can Thunder Wave. I'm actually going to double into Superior, predicting the Rotom Wash. So this is good for me. Basically, I can get a free sub up. I can get a free Leaf Storm up and do a chunk. There's a chance Sableye came in on the Slowbro as well, but without the Magic Guard already up, I figured Rotom was most likely to play, but Serp could handle either of those. So like I said, I could totally sub here, but I'm just going to go straight for the Leaf Storm as I lie and I substitute. So, remember my own battle that I had? So now I can actually glare here. This is risky because he could be like Lum or something weird, and he shows the Acrobatics. So I glare him, and that's free damage. So now here's the thing: is like I have a Koba Berry. He just showed Acrobatics. Maybe he's a weird Scarf set like D-Train brought once with that still has Acrobatics. Maybe he's banded. Maybe maybe something weird, but like the no berries popped yet, so I don't know what his like unburden could be. And there's a chance he'll go for another Acrobatics. So now that he's paralyzed, I can go for a Leaf Storm and go from there if I am assuming I can live a hit. So I Leaf Storm, I crit, and I bring him into Citrus range, but no Citrus pops, and it's fine. And he makes actually a very smart play and goes for a high jump kick in case maybe I went for Celesteela there. So that's rough for me. That high jump kick was a roll because we know he had to be Jolly, because obviously he outsped Superior. He's not Scarfed because he switched moves, and that's the two things. So just calculating that, a high jump kick was a roll. But here's kind of the thing: is this helps me out a little bit because otherwise Superior probably KOs this thing. Is he a Salt Vest? I don't think so, but I don't know. He totally could be. So now I at least get a free switch into Nidoking, which I guess is nice. And then I can just go for a Sludge Wave and not risk anything crazy. He's not going to be able to freely switch. So I do Sludge Wave. He's going to be able to freely go into Victini. So I'm like, okay, well, even if, it doesn't prove that this Victini is scarfed, as he's smartly going to U-turn again. Basically, he knew that if I stayed in and U-turned, he'd go into Rotom. So he's going to Rotom anyways. I'm forced to switch out into Nidoking on either a, hopefully, Will-O-Wisp, maybe even a Toxic, or a Hydro Pump. So he's going to miss the Will-O-Wisp. It's actually not going to matter, except for telling me he has it, because I'm going to go for Rocks, and Nidoking's going to go down. So that sucks. In hindsight, a Pasho Berry would have been very nice there. I could have gotten extra damage on this Rotom. Like I said, Sash wouldn't have mattered there. Assault Vest, I couldn't have gotten the rocks up. So, like, that was the only situation. I could have predicted me being in on Rotom. I did forego obviously, the Sludge Wave damage on this Rotom. I don't know if he's specially defensive or what. But I got basically the scouting of Will-O-Wisp, and I got rocks up for that Victini, who seems to be a big nuisance. So this is basically a free switch into Altaria to now hopefully bait the Will-O-Wisp and not have him switch or anything. So he's going to Will-O-Wisp, is going to miss, and this is actually game-changing to a degree, because now I can roost on the second Will-O-Wisp. He doesn't know I have Facade, so I'm welcoming the burn. And now I can Cotton Guard. Otherwise, how that would have went was I would have had to Cotton Guard on before I roosted, had he hit the first Will-O-Wisp, because he would have just Volt Switched. So, the roost was basically because I knew it was free, and I Dragon Dance knowing I would bait him into the Will-O-Wisp, so I would have quite a bit less health now. And here he shows that Excadrill is, in fact, scarfed, and he's going to flinch me, and it does 31%. So this is scary. I'm going to have to roost here. If he flinches me again, then I'm basically just screwed, but whatever. So now he goes into Omastar as I get a free roost up. So now, like I said, from his perspective, I'm burned, so I'm at -1. And from my perspective, I don't want him Ice Beaming me. I don't want him Shell Smashing, potentially outspeeding me if I go for a second Dragon Dance here. But it's mainly the Ice Beam I'm worried about, because I don't want to take, who knows how much that could do. It could do like up to 50%, and then I'm in the same situation I was with the Excadrill, where I have to not get flinched. So I'm going to go straight for the Facade and hope. I didn't even calculate this. I just went straight for the Facade, and it drops the Omastar. That's so huge. So he's forced to go back into Excadrill now, as I'm basically in a position where I just need to not get flinched or critted and set up all over this thing's face. So he goes for the 34%. I'm actually going to Cotton Guard here, so that way I have extra turns to both Roost and Dragon Dance. I could have Dragon Dance first and then Cotton Guarded and then Roosted, or Roosted and Cotton Guard. It seemed like the foregoing the damage is better. So now he doesn't flinch me there. That could have been horrible. I'm free to set up another Dragon Dance. And that way, now that I can outspeed him, I'm out of flinch range. So now it's only a crit that could do me in. So I'm going to have to Roost here. And just kind of see what he's doing. Okay, 21%. It's just whatever. So now I'm just, okay, I want to see how much of Facade does. I want to see what his bulk is, see if it was a roll. And this was, I believe, a 30% roll to KO. If I do remember correctly, it was something like... It was something like 88 to 103, or it was something like that. So like, it wasn't in my favor by any means. Just as living with Superior wasn't in my favor, if that makes sense. So like, both were like, I would have needed the 30% to work. But we're gonna see here that it actually does come into play, because he's gonna Iron Head me. I'm gonna be low, and I'm gonna say, okay, well now I can Roost here. I can Facade, but I was really scared of risking the crit, so I just go straight for the Facade. And now I'm at 25, but I'm like, okay, well, Rotom, things Victini should U-turn. I can probably just Roost on this thing, and he outspeeds me with Glaciate and drops Altaria. So that puts me at a huge disadvantage here, because in theory, all I had to do was set up another Dragon Dance on Excadrill and Roost once or twice. And also in theory, so this was a hindsight thing, but Altaria, you saw in the team builder, was 122 speed. So doubled at +2 speed is 244. Now a Victini crept for a 95 base speed would have hit 143 speed with a Scarp. So had he crept his speed for Yanmega / Arcanine, presuming Yanmega might come and be speed boost for extra bulk and HP or defense or whatever he wanted, then I would have outsped him right there. Roosted, Glaciate probably would not have done that much. For all I know, that Glaciate itself is somewhat of a roll. I don't even know. But yeah, so he did not creep speed at all, which I didn't plan for. So I'm not saying like, oh, I crept for the creep or whatever. I'm just saying like like that just revealed to me that he was max speed, which is like fine. Like when you're creeping any like less than like 5 base point speed, I don't disagree with this running max speed. But I don't have any base 100, so I'm not sure what if he had true logic there, if there was something something he saw, or if he really just threw in max speed. So now I'm looking at my team and I'm like, okay, I have my 2 left that get walled by Sableye, and I have my Zeraora which gets checked by this Victini. So I'm in a real rough spot. I went from Altaria sweep to not wanting to risk crit, thinking I was fine, and then not thinking about the Victini's speed. So that was definitely a misplay on my part, not considering max speed Scarf Victini as an option. So he did run dual Scarfers, which that wasn't out of the realm possibility, but I just don't know. I was kind of like getting caught in the moment. So I'm going to have to go Celesteal here 100%, and I'm going to have to Leech Seed here. So now basically my bait here is to make him not want to Volt Switch. Now I want to get Zeraora in on this thing for free, which would still be like fine. I could have done that this turn. So I'm going to protect and basically bait the Will-O-Wisp. I could have just gone straight for the Zera, but that's fine. So he's going to Will-O-Wisp this turn. And this is basically my last chance to try to get something done. So there is Leech Seed up. I'm getting health back. So I'm going to Calm Mind here. The balloon won't matter anymore. I doubt he has any ground moves. So I Calm Mind on the Will-O-Wisp. It does a decent amount. So I'm going to get 11% back and lose 6. So now I'm going to click Thunderbolt and he switches into Victini and my brain explodes. So I can't very much justify that play on his part, other than I would try to get to +2 Zeraora. I had maybe sub, so if he just kept staying in with Rotom, then between if he couldn't break my sub and I was getting health back from Leech Seed or something, and then he would just have to go in and not be able to break my sub or whatever. I guess from his perspective, he wanted to get Victini in that turn, thinking I wouldn't attack, but I just had to attack because I knew my set. so he basically made the riskiest play in this battle, and from here on, I don't know what can he really do. Sableye is going to come in. I am +1 special attack, and Thunderbolt from this range, Modest is going to do 58%, so that's a 40% hit, not +1. So that means his special defense is not going to be high enough to take a second one, and that'll do it for Sableye, and that'll bring in Rotom. And believe it or not, against all odds, we're going to the finals, baby. Okay, so talking about this battle. The stuff with Altaria was kind of like a coin flip, especially with that Will-O-Wisp miss that let me set up or get a little bit more health back and stuff, and because dual Scarfer is heading across my mind, and the Scarf Excadrill after he showed Rocks, Scarf Rocks was a good play on his part. I obviously could have stayed in with Alt, gotten greedier, set up, and just won the game there. I obviously, in hindsight, that was the right play because Victini outspeeding me. But like I said, I mean, there still could have been that crit, and it seems I don't know if it's just hindsight bias or law of large numbers or a showdown thing, but it always seems like that when you're setting up in a stally way, you're boosting one of your defensive stats and recovering, that you're just twice as likely to get critted. So I just didn't want to risk it. But Victini one Victini being special after the U-turn. Maybe I should have calced U-turn damages and seen if he was if that would reveal to me how much physical investment he had, if he was mixed. I have no idea what that Victini set was. I have no idea what the Hawlucha set was. I have no idea what the Omastar set was. Presumably it was Shell Smash because I dropped him with a Facade, so he probably wasn't physically defensive. But yeah, so I mean that basically I can claim that I could have just won with Altaria to kind of make up for the fact that him switching into Victini was a bit of a throw, because if Victini, if I just took out the Rotom on that turn and then Victini came in, then I'm gonna have to switch. He can go for some sort of attack. I don't know if he would have Blue Flare or what, or if he had Thunderbolt. I mean, it would have been prediction games based on his set. I probably would have had at that point had it gone Calcancy if I thought he was U-turn with 3 special moves or mixed. But then it would basically come down to the Zera being at 60% or some, give or take, and that Sableye, I needed the +1 to be able to handle Sableye, or else we're gonna sit in on each other. He can recover, and I'm gonna get whittled down by burn, not be able to set up other than a crit. And if Victini's even still alive, then Victini can always come in. So that Sableye was stopping me from winning, and the fact that he went Victini and I didn't just sack the Rotom, is what won it for me. Because I mean, like I said, he didn't need the Rotom for Selly or Slowbro because he had Sableye. So I don't know. I'm sure in the moment, like, we all have reasons for the plays we make, but that's okay. So now our final matchup is gonna be against DFP. He did defeat Gray in the little town. He was down 4-1 and came back with a D-Dance Dragonite because Gray made misplays that were like 99% avoidable with hindsight and like probably like 50% avoidable in real time. Like his plays weren't bad; they were just the wrong plays. If that makes sense. Like had Dragonite been a different set, he would have won. Had he predicted Dragonite to be the set it was, he would have made different plays, but he couldn't have predicted its moveset. That kind of stuff. So we are rematching DFP. He has made a few transactions, so we're gonna have to build for that. He was probably what I would say my second worst loss during the regular season was. Obviously, the worst one was against D-Train, but I should blame Mega Blastoise for that. So I mean, we didn't play very well against him. We prepped okay, but I really I should have had Starmie there. So we're gonna have to change our game plan a little bit. Go to the lab, cook up something nice like this Altaria. This Altaria set. Thank you, Ian. You're the greatest man of all time, and you won me this game like entirely, 100%. So that'll do it for this week, and I'll catch you next for the finals against DFP and the DFP. And I don't know, he's a weird dude, but we're good buddies. So at this point, I would say I don't know, whatever. So thanks for watching, and goodbye for now.